Hello, Mr. Carrier's Algebra 1A class. I'm taking a look at your 2.6 properties, the regular, and it's on Alex. And so let's go back and take a look at the questions. So for the first one, and pause this as needed as we move forward, it says to solve the following proportion for x. So I have this written down on my paper, and what we're going to do is we're going to take 11 times x, and that's going to give me 11x on this side. 13 times 7 is going to give me 91 on this side. Then I just take with my calculator and I divide both sides by 11, so 91 divided by 11. 11 divided by 11 would cancel that out. That's why I did it. 91 divided by 11 gives me 8.3. I rounded it. At first I put 8.2, but it's 8.27, and the directions say to round to the nearest tenth, so you're going to want to put 8.3 in there for your number one. Number two, we have this proportion. I've written that proportion down right here. I take 3 times x. I usually like to go, up, so I like to go this way with my cross multiplication. So 3 times x, 3x. 10 times 13 is 130, so that goes on this side. I divide both sides by 3, so 130 divided by 3. I end up getting 43.3, and that's going to be rounded to the nearest tenth. For number 3, I have this proportion. And so I have it written right here. So I'm going to take 12 times 3, that gives me 36. 9 times w is 9w. I then divide both sides by 9, and I get 4. And I first get 36 divided by 9, obviously. And then I just did 36 divided by 9, which gave me 4. Because it said to simplify your answer as much as possible, so I thought maybe it would be a fraction, but it is not. Number 4. We get this proportion, and taking a look at this one, hopefully it'll focus here in a second. 3 times y gives me 3y on this side. 5 times 17 gives me 85. I divide both sides by 3, and I get 28.3 for my y. Number 5. I get this proportion, and so I take 9 times 4 gives me 36 over here. 6 times v is 6v. I divide 36 by 6, divide both sides by 6, in other words, and I get v equals 6. Number 6. May made $299 for 13 hours of work. At the same rate, how much would she make for 8 hours of work? So we're going to do money to hours, money we don't know to hours. So I have money to hours equals money we don't know to hours. I just cross multiply. 13 times x is 13x. 8 times 299 is 2,392. I divide both sides by 13, and I get 184 for x. So she would make $184 for working 8 hours. Not too bad. Here I have Kevin drove 715 miles in 11 hours. At the same rate, how long would it take him to drive 585 miles? So we're going to go miles to hours, miles to we don't know hours. So miles to hours that we know, miles to hours we don't know. So 715 times x, and then 11 times 585 is right here. I divide both sides by 715. So that's going to be like this. These cross off. So 6,435 divided by 715 gives me 9. Number 8. I have Jane drove 225 miles using 10 gallons of gas. At this rate, how many gallons of gas would she need to drive 441 miles? So I'm going to go miles to gallons. miles to gallons we don't know. So I have miles to gallons we don't know. So I just cross multiply. X times 225 is 225x. 10 times 441 is 4,410. And just add a 0 to that. A quick multiplication trick there. So I take 4,410 and divide by 225, and I get 19.6. It doesn't say you got to round that one, so let me see what happens when I put the 19.6 in there. Let me check it. Okay, it liked it. It didn't say round or anything, just gave the answer, so that will work. Wanted to check that for you before I moved on. Tom runs 4 miles in 30 minutes, and at the same rate, how many miles would he run in 48 minutes? So I'm going to go miles to minutes, to miles we don't know, to minutes we do know. So miles to minutes, to miles we don't know, to minutes we do know, that we're questioning. So I have 30 times x over here is 30x. 48 times 4 is 192. So I'm going to divide both sides by 30. So I divide by 30, divide by 30. These cancel out. I get 192 divided by 30 is 6.4. And that should work, even though it didn't tell you to round or anything. It's kind of the same as number 8, I imagine. And then lastly, we have Ashley made $323 for 17 hours of work. At the same rate, how much would she make for 5 hours of work? So we're going to go money to hours, money we don't know, to hours. So money to hours that we do know, to money to hours that we do know. So 5 times the 323 is my 1,615. 17 times x is 17x. I divide both sides by 17 and I get 95. Hopefully this was enough help for you. If not, please let me know.